Hey YouTube, Island Homesteader here. Well, it's October 23rd, about 10:45 in the morning, and what a beautiful fall morning on the Outer Banks. It's 65, about 65 degrees, a light wind, a breeze out of the northwest, maybe 3-4 miles an hour, full sun, not a cloud in the sky today. Just a beautiful day. On the Outer Banks. Beautiful fall weather. This is pretty typical fall weather for us. And here's a shot of the garden. Getting ready to go down and get some things cleaned up. So when I do that, I'll show you a little closer. I might even get the peanuts pulled up today. They need a few days to set out in the sun and dry, and it looks like the whole week is going to be really nice, potentially right up until this weekend. I don't know how much you guys are following the news, but there's a Tropical Storm Sandy down in the Caribbean right now that over the next 3 or 4 days is going to probably impact Jamaica and Cuba and the Bahamas. And then at that point, once it comes out of the Bahamas, right now there's some divergence in the models that steer it either well out into the ocean or right up the coast. So we'll have to pay attention this weekend. We may either be looking at a beautiful weekend, or we may be looking at a hurricane or strong nor'easter winter type storm passing by, or maybe even impacting us. So just have to pay attention to see how things go. So here's a quick look from up top. I'm going to go down and get some work done, and then I'll come back and give you a close-up of some of the plants going on down there. So here's the peanuts. The leaves have started to change colors, and I think they've probably just been in the ground long enough, so we're going to pull them up and see what happens. Might be a little difficult one-handed, but there's already a peanut right there just sitting right under the ground that was attached. So let's just grab a hold. And nice root system, but peanuts don't make from the roots. They make from pegs that they put in. You can see these things sticking down into the ground as we pull up. There's a few peanuts attached, but I saw some more down here in the ground. Yeah, look. No, that's the other plant. See all the peanuts laying there? Alright, let's get this plant up. Oh yeah. See the peanuts hanging? That's not so bad. There's the peanuts hanging off of the branches where they flowered and then gone down into the ground to peg and form the peanut. And you can see these things they're right there under the ground where these branches have gone out and pegged. That's what it's called. It's kind of hard one-handed. This is where a camera operator would definitely come in handy. Okay, there we go. There's the peanuts hanging. There's some that are broke off that are laying down there on the ground. I'll have to get them all picked up, but sorry about that. See, there's more just laying down here. Oh, look, the weeds grew up terrible, and that's really creating a problem here picking, so
Lesson learned.
But there are definitely peanuts on the plants.
Okay, here's the next one. This one just trying to get down to the base of the plant. You can see all the peanuts already pulling out of the ground and falling off, rolling away. See the peanuts laying up under there?
And these are Jumbo Virginia or Virginia Jumbo peanuts is the kind of peanuts these were.
And those are big peanuts. I mean, that's the palm of my hand. So those are definitely some big peanuts. Alright, so here's the next one. You can see peanuts coming out of the ground just as I start to grab a hold of the stem.
I mean, not a whole lot of peanuts, but hey, I didn't
think I would get any when I planted them, so anything I get is better than nothing, I reckon. I want to dig around in the ground some. I'm sure some of these have broke off. So after I pull all of them up, I'll dig around and look.
But the ones I got are great big. They're huge peanuts. The ones that are on the plant. So I'm going to throw them over here in this box over here and just let them sit out in the sun for a few days because they're supposed to dry out in the sun. You see them in the peanut fields, that's what they do. They turn the plants over in a pile in the field and just let them set for several days to dry out before they actually come back and pick them. So let's see, I think I got one more here. The plants grew great. The plants were healthy. They really grew good. I'm just not. Now this one is my best one. Look at that. Look up underneath of that plant. Peanuts just hanging off of it. Peanuts just hanging. Look at that. That's just one little branch. It's got 9 or 10 solid, nice big peanuts on it just off this little branch.
And there's more laying in here.
Okay, there's what's left of the peanut plants. I changed plans a little bit. Instead of putting the whole plant on the ground to dry out the peanuts, what I did was went through the plants and picked the peanuts off. So now I'm going to set these peanuts out here in the sun. I'll just let them sit out here for a couple of days. I'll see how dry they get. But there's the 2012 peanut harvest. So I pulled all my peppers and eggplants and stuff up out of the ground today to get them out of the way, and here's what was left on one of the eggplants. I didn't even know it was there. That one and this little one came off of this eggplant right here. This thing. These are those black beauties. Never grown them before. All I ever grew was those long Japanese type. And look, here it is, 23rd of October, and the thing's still blooming, trying to set eggplants. But this plant's probably 5 foot tall. You know, it's enormous. I've never seen, eggplants have never gotten that big here before for us, those Japanese kind. But here's just a quick look at what we've still got going. This is that box with cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and then this whole end up here is collards. And look at these collards. These things, they're beautiful.
There's 16 collard plants in there. Square foot method, 1 per foot. It's a 4x4 box. So they're doing great. Everything's looking really good so far this year. Broccoli, now obviously they're not setting broccoli yet. They're not big enough for that. But there's 16 broccoli plants there. Cauliflower is looking good. 8 cauliflower plants. Again, obviously they're not making cauliflower, they're too small. But I've never had any luck. I told you this probably when I planted them. I've never had any luck with cauliflower. Never made a cauliflower head. So these 8 cauliflowers are cauliflower's last chance with me. And green cabbage, they're all looking really good. 16 of them in there. And then this little box over here has some red cabbage, which doesn't look quite as good, but they're growing. So I did lose a couple over here. So there's some red cabbage, and then just a couple of plants that I had left over when I planted the other box that I didn't have room for. There's a couple of broccoli and cauliflower and stuff over here. So, and then the last thing I got is this little box over here where I planted some seeds, and let's go look at those. Radishes. Radishes are looking good. They're looking really good. Several different kinds of radishes in there. Buttercrunch lettuce is growing. Red Sales lettuce. Didn't look like it germinated really good, but there are some lettuce plants in there. And then it's all beets down here on this end, a couple of different kinds, and they're coming up. So maybe we'll get some beets, some lettuce, and some radishes fresh this fall. Well, that's pretty much it. So there probably won't be a whole lot more updates this year out of the garden, but the collards and the broccoli and the cabbage and stuff is looking good. And then the peanuts over there, just trying to clean up as a pile of weeds and vines and stuff that I pulled up. Here's the box where I grew my corn this year, and you can see the sweet potatoes were in the box right here next to it. I've already harvested those and showed you, but look at the sweet potato vines still growing up in these corn. So obviously there's some sweet potatoes had set someplace outside of the box, because the vines are just growing great. Matter of fact, the vines in here are blooming. Again, October 23rd, and I've got sweet potatoes blooming. So I get in here and clean this out. This is that netting that I used, to support it. Never had any corn blow over this year. Of course, I didn't get any corn because the worms got it before I did, but at least now I know I can grow it and support it without it blowing over in our wind. So, and I gotta get these cleaned out, get them ready for next year. So that's just a quick look around the garden. Tomatoes are done. I'm not even going to show you. It's just a mess up there. Dead plants. I got to get up there and cut all them down and bag them up and get them out in the trash. So right now it's just a waiting game. I probably could pick some collards if I wanted, but I typically like to get frosted on. They're supposed to be better. They're sweeter, they say, after they've been frosted on. So I usually don't even bother eating collards until they've gotten frosted, but I don't know that we'll see frost for several weeks down here sometimes. It's well into November sometimes before we ever have any good heavy frost. So I might have to pick some of these because they're getting so big. If they get big enough, I'll pick them, and you can pick them and stick them in the freezer, and you can frost them in the freezer. So I might have to pick some of those and stick them in the freezer to be able to eat them. But here's a look around what's going on this fall. I've got some plans for next year. I'm not going to say a whole lot yet until I know that I can do it. So, but I do have some plans to expand a little bit next year and build some new boxes and stuff. So we'll see what spring brings. So anyway, here's probably, I'm sure there'll be some more updates down here, quick updates on the collards and broccoli and stuff. But here's probably the last look around the whole garden that you'll see, with peanuts over there drying in the sun. Alright, thanks YouTube.